Thailand's politics are shifting once again. A new prime minister is set to take office, the Shinawatra era looks to be over, and rules that once kept reformists out of power have quietly disappeared. But what does that actually mean for day-to-day life here, for visitors and long-term expats? Let's walk through it step by step.
For 2 decades, Thai politics were defined by the Shinawatra name. Thaksin Shinawatra swept to power in 2001 with populist policies that reshaped the electoral map before being toppled in the 2006 coup. His sister Yingluck followed in 2011, only to be removed in 2014. And in 2023, it looked like a revival when Thaksin's daughter became prime minister. But instead of securing the dynasty's future, she presided over one of the shortest and most disastrous terms in recent memory. A leaked phone call with Cambodia's Hun Sen during a period of border clashes left her facing an ethics violation. Her support collapsed in the polls, slipping to single digits. And by late August, the Constitutional Court dismissed her from office. Unlike her father and aunt, Paetongtarn's removal didn't bring about mass protests in her favor. The only protests were against her continued rule, and Thaksin himself quietly left Thailand soon after, reportedly for medical treatment in Singapore or Dubai. The dynasty that once looked unstoppable appears to be ending not with a bang but with a whimper. And this is a monumental shift in Thai politics. So what happens now? The immediate answer is that Anutin Charnvirakul, leader of the Bhumjai Thai Party, takes the helm. For those unfamiliar, Anutin is one of Thailand's most seasoned dealmakers. A wealthy businessman turned politician whose party has long played kingmaker. Internationally, he's best known as the health minister who oversaw cannabis decriminalization in 2022. But Anutin's rule comes with strings attached. His premiership exists thanks to an agreement with the People's Party, which is now the largest in parliament. Their conditions are strict. The People's Party will not join his government or appoint ministers. He must dissolve the House within 4 months of presenting his policy platform, paving the way for new elections. And he must govern as a minority and avoid consolidating power. The People's Party ultimately wants new elections. It is the largest party in Parliament, and it was blocked from forming a government by a military-appointed Senate in 2023, when it was still known as the Move Forward Party. The Senate's role was a holdover from Thailand's coup-era politics, where appointed senators effectively held a veto over the political process. But in 2024, the Senate veto expired. A new election would almost certainly bring the People's Party to power. But for now, Anutin will assume power. His government is transitional by design, but Thai politics are rarely that simple. Timetables slip, alliances shift, and for now, Anutin is prime minister, until he isn't. So what can we expect under a weak Anutin-led government?
His arrival brings immediate relief to the beleaguered cannabis industry, which faced a heavy crackdown under the previous Pheu Thai party, with new prescription-only rules and even the threat of recriminalization.
Anutin is the most pro-cannabis figure in Thai politics, and a reversal of those restrictions could come quickly, likely with a far more favorable regulatory framework. But any change may be short-lived. The People's Party doesn't share his enthusiasm. Their platform favors balanced regulation firmly within a medical-first framework.
And we can also expect an easing on Pheu Thai's recent war on drugs, which brought nightlife raids, more checkpoints, and arrests.
When it comes to drugs, the Shinawatras are well known for having the most hardline policies in Thai politics, extending back more than 2 decades. Any change of government should mean a less aggressive approach. But when it comes to the recent banking and visa crackdowns, we should expect continuity. These measures weren't just driven by domestic politics, but by international pressure to combat organized crime. Massive scam networks and compounds in neighboring Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos were using Thai bank accounts and visas to facilitate their operations. High-profile incidents tied to these scam compounds caused severe damage to Thailand's tourism sector, especially with Chinese travelers, who make up the largest visitor group. The collapse in confidence contributed to a 7% drop in arrivals in the first half of 2025, almost entirely due to falling Chinese numbers. Restoring trust is essential to reviving tourism. The banking crackdown includes closing and restricting bank accounts under tourist visas, imposing transfer limits, while immigration authorities have targeted education visas and abuse of the visa-free entry system. Expect more of the same under any new government. Beyond visas and banking, taxation could also shift. But Anutin is unlikely to introduce broad reforms. Under the previous military-backed government, in which he served as deputy prime minister, favorable loopholes on foreign earned income remained untouched. But a shift to the People's Party could open the door to tax reforms aimed at broadening the base and closing loopholes. While these would focus on monopolies and big business, expats with foreign-sourced income may be affected and should watch closely. And there are broader, less predictable risks. The People's Party may win the popular vote, but they remain viewed with suspicion by Thailand's military and conservative elite. The party technically won the last election under the old Move Forward banner, but their campaign centered on reforming Thailand's royal defamation laws, a stance that led the Senate to block their path to power, and eventually the Constitutional Court dissolved the party. Pattaya then struck a compromise with pro-monarchy and military factions to end the impasse. The People's Party is the successor to Move Forward, and it's unclear whether they will again pursue reforms that touch the monarchy. If they do, significant political drama could follow.
So how could all this play out? The most likely scenario is that Anutin governs briefly, dissolves parliament, and calls new elections. And the People's Party emerges strong enough to form a new government.
But the timeline could stretch, with Anutin assembling a wider coalition and dragging things out. And of course, there could be turbulence. Politics in Thailand is anything but predictable, and there is always the risk of more legal battles, constitutional court interventions, or even military meddling.
But in all scenarios, the key fact remains: the Shinawatras are out and a new government is incoming. And as always, I'll keep you up to date with any changes. Have a great day.